Yo guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Link and today I'm going to be giving you guys the very best tips you can use to level from 110 to 120 as fast as possible in patch 8.3. Tip number one is make sure you guys have all of your BOA gear. You can use it up to level 120 now from 110, so that is really good. So make sure you guys have all of that. That should give you about 45% minimum. A lot of you already know this, but there is a 100% XP increase buff until the pre-patch of Shadowlands, so make sure you guys are taking advantage of that and leveling your alts or maybe a new main while that's going on. So far that's 145% increased XP overall. Another really good tip for you guys is that you can buy a 5% XP gem from the auction house. Basically, all you have to do is buy a BOE ring from the auction house. This will cost you a little bit of gold depending on what server you're on. I think mine was about 500 and the gem was pretty cheap, so I got another 5% XP from that. Now to equip the ring, I believe you have to be level 111, just so you guys know, so that is kind of annoying, but not too big of a deal. It's just one level you have to get. Now the next tip isn't something that you can always do, but there are events that you can see on the calendar. Like recently there was a summer festival that gave you a 10% XP boost, as well as the Dark Moon Fair just started back up, I believe, or it starts in a few days. So you guys can go in there and use the carousel and you can get another 10% XP boost from that. The next tip I'm going to give you guys is to make sure you're turning on war mode. This can give you between 10 and 30% XP depending on the faction you're on. Now I'm pretty sure the faction that's outnumbered actually gets increased rewards, which I think is usually Alliance. I think I was getting like 25% increased XP in quest rewards. The next tip for you guys is something I actually didn't know about right away, and you can actually get a 10% XP potion from a vendor. And each of these vendors, one can be found in Borealis, the other one can be found in Zandalar for the Horde. These potions are BOA, so you can trade them across servers, you can send them in the mail. And I believe each one costs 5 7th Legion medallions, so if you guys have those maybe on your main or on a couple different alts, you can buy them with those and send them over. Now in terms of leveling, I do have 3 of the very best ways you guys can be leveling up from 110 to 120. Now the number one way to level from 110 to 120 is by getting freehold runs. Now if you guys don't know what freehold is, it's a normal dungeon that actually a 120 can grind you through by just farming all the mobs. Now this is quite expensive. It can be like 6 to 8k per run depending on how good the person doing it is. Now if you're a returning player or you're new or maybe you just don't want to spend your gold on that and going to buy game time or whatever, I would suggest not doing this just because of how expensive it can be, but it is the very best way to level up. Now the second best way I found to level from 110 to 120 is actually time walking dungeons. The reason time walking dungeons are so good is because of how fast you can run them, especially if they have a really good group. The scaling in these is kind of weird, so it just seems like you steamroll them like super quickly. Obviously time walking isn't always available, so make sure you guys are just checking your calendar. If it's popping up next week, make sure you guys jump in there, level your alts up. And last but not least, the third best way to level 110 to 120, island expeditions are insanely fast, guys. These are so good to be running. Each run takes about 5 to 6 minutes. I've never had one over 6.5 minutes, so that was like my longest run it ever took. Now this is how I leveled my hunter recently. I only had 5.5 hours at 110 to 120, but I did take a little bit of a break in between, and I was also doing some testing by doing regular dungeons, which was a complete waste of time because I spent like 40 minutes in a normal dungeon. So you can definitely get 110 to 120 in less than like 5 hours for sure by just doing island expeditions 100%. Keep in mind I was using every single experience boost, except sometimes I didn't have the event buff because I would die while I was inside of the expedition. So overall, guys, hopefully this video helped you guys out with all the different experience increases you guys can get if you're like a returning player or you're just trying to level some alts up. And also, if you don't have the gold for the freehold runs and time walking isn't available at the time, 100% just do island expeditions. You can definitely get 110 to 120 in under 5 hours easily. If you have some really geared friends, maybe they're mythic gear, mythic plus gear, you can definitely get it done even quicker than that. And that's everything for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't yet. Help me hit 4,000 subscribers. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.